Good morning. I'm standing here on behalf of the Baston family. We know certain things that came out in regards to Johnnie Baston's case in relation to a confession made on his behalf related to the shooting of Mr. Mark. We went through that with him today, and it appears there was a miscommunication of what occurred during the actual lie detector test that we as the family had actually requested. We knew there was more parties involved into this situation with Johnny and the incident that happened back in March 21st of 1994. What we had asked was we knew another party was there, and it was a party by the name of Ray. We were looking to get to clear that actually Johnny was not the actual shooter. And from that lie detector test would give us what we needed to show that he was actually not the person that shot Mr. Morrow, but a party that took responsibility for the robbery, not the murder. Something occurred during that test, and the test was not actually done. And so that's being looked into, but at that point, this would not save my brother from execution. So we want the media to know that my brother did not confess to any crime whatsoever of shooting Mr. Morrow. We want that known. Also, we want to thank you for the support of Johnny's case. We want to thank all parties that really helped us through these very hard months of clearing my brother's name. He has taken responsibility for his actions. We want that known. He has a lot of sympathy and remorse for the Marr family, regardless of what media and what the actual state representatives stated in my brother's case. We believe in execution? No. No party should have the right to take a life. And we also have known that my brothers and I have gotten proof of how broken the system is, and it must stop. We're going to do everything in our power after my brother's execution to proceed in his name, to not only clear his name, but help get legislation changed so parties and families will not have to go through what we're going to do today. As far as how we feel about the actual drug being used, of course, many parties know that the state is doing everything possible to do to keep doing business as usual. Before I go to that, as far as the execution aspect, I do want to state, as far as my family and I, that what state has the right to take a life? Where does the Moore family voice is heard and it's not being heard? What is the purpose of execution when you do not listen to the family of the victims that asked for this? So the question should ask, why are we still continuing in the state of Ohio executing parties, especially in this case, where the Marr family has said repeatedly that they were against his execution? So ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, what is execution for? It's not for to honor the family. It's to actually continue to do business as usual in the state of Ohio, as well as they're doing in other states like in my home state of Texas. And we believe that the actual state of Ohio is doing everything in their power to exceed in execution as in Texas, privatizing prisons, and understanding that justice has nothing to do with this. It's all about profit. That's how we feel. That is what we know to be fact. And we're going to do everything in our power in Johnny's name to overturn situations where other parties will not have to suffer what we've suffered today. Any questions for him?
How is Johnny feeling at this point when you talk to him, and especially when it came out about this alleged confession?
Johnny was very hurt because it was a miscommunication from the party that we had requested a lie detector test. We wanted to ensure that justice was done in this case, for us, not only for us, but most of all for the Marr family. And what Johnny stated was that it was a question he was asked to see how he would test. The lie detector test was never even done. He wasn't even strapped to the machine. The party went in and started cross-referencing him about what occurred during this case instead of asking the questions what he would have been employed to do. And that is to see if Johnnie Baston would be considered guilty of holding that gun that killed Mr. Morrow. That's what we're after. We're also did an investigation in the state of Chicago looking for a party that would have been with Johnny. And we truly feel we found that person. That lie detector test was going to overturn his sentence and my brother would not be executed today. So ask yourselves, why was that done? And most of all, let me ask you this, and I'll put it out to everyone, why in God's name was this person allowed to be in the room with my brother to do a so-called examination and no party from any state representative was represented in that room? So, of course, we all know my brother's reputation and integrity at this point is basically in the toilet. So it's his word against my brother's word of what actually occurred in that room. And no party in this state, no party or part of the Ohio Correctional Facility can tell me to my face what happened. Now my brother's life is on the line. He's about to be executed, probably for something he did not even do. Was he a part of the robbery? Yes, he was. And he stated that in many of his interviews and of course to the family. But was he the party that actually killed Mr. Morrow? Is justice really being done here? No. We think it's all about profit. It's not about justice. And that must change in this state and many other states. And as long as I live and breathe, I'm going to make sure it's done. Because it makes no sense for people to take a person's life over a hearsay. Johnny's testimony stated that he was there, but nothing ties Johnny to the gun or to the murder outside of his actual testimony. So ask yourself, is that enough to kill someone over? That's what we're asking. We're asking for justice here, and all we see is profit.
We hear that he's calm. I mean, with all this, is he at peace today?
He's at peace. He's a Christian first. And that's what parties fail to realize. He's very active in his church activity. And he's continued to be active even during his corporate. He's actually, to be honest, he's actually counseling us more than we are counseling him. So he knows that he's at peace with himself with this situation.
When you're saying that he's counseling you, what is he saying to you? What is he asking you to do?
He's asking us to continue what we started. And that is to actually get justice. Justice for the Morrow family and change the legislation, especially related to the 3-judge panel that led it here. Because there's an injustice, ladies and gentlemen. You have parties who are taking themselves, who are attorneys, and they have hidden agendas, and ask yourself, what system is perfect? No system is perfect. Individual, you can stand there and say, well, in 17 years, they only have one case that was been overturned by the 3-judge panel. That should tell you right there itself is a problem. There's things must change in this state and must change now. This case is far beyond Johnnie Baston. This thing is related to what's actually occurring in this state.
Richard, what were your last words to your brother? What did you say to him?
I said to my brother, we will always love you. And the unconditional love we have for you is to know that regardless of your family, your church family loves you. And he stated to me, I'm at peace. And I know what I did and I know what I didn't do. And that's basically what he stated to me during our last conversation.
Richard, how did you find this lie detector, a polygraph expert? Was this done by you, by his attorneys, and would
Well,
that
actually, I'm the one that looked out and began to look around for sources. I found this particular company, the independent company, and then when I turned to the attorneys, and the attorney stated, well, okay, yeah, we're going to use that particular company. I just want to know, in God's name, why that person was allowed to come into a to a state penitentiary and not be accompanied or actually someone else being in the room doing this so-called examination. That's what troubles me. It troubles my family, what has occurred in that matter. We want to get national attention, to change the wrongs in this state and many other states, that when parties go in and use their own personal agendas, it must change.
What are the ages of his kids?
His children are, his daughter is 16, will be 17, and his son is 16.
Richard, did you lay out money for the lie detector test? Or did the state do that? I mean, the attorneys?
Actually, the state did that, and we kind of wish we went the other direction, but we told that it should be fine. And we did assume a couple things, that one, some parties would be in the room doing that examination, and that did not occur.
So the state is paying or paid for the test?
They paid.
Do you know how much it was? How much they
I have
paid?
no idea.
And was this in Youngstown last Friday?
This was in Youngstown last Friday.
When you're saying the state, are you referring to the public defender's
Yeah,
office?
public defender's office.
Do you have any kind of thought on the new drug taking place or any of the adjustments done for your brother's execution?
Well, my family has felt, and I felt when I researched the actual drug, the state of Oklahoma adopted the drug a year ago. It was part of their 3-drug cartel. It's never been used in the state, in the United States. It's the first time it's used by itself. It's legal out of the country for legal suicide, but it hasn't been examined by the U.S. Supreme Court to be considered the best drug in the lethal injection. I just look at the state just doing business as usual, and they didn't want to take the time to really examine the drug before using it. We have a problem with that. That is the reason why my brother Ron and I are going to be witnessing the execution.
So you prefer that this not be used?
I would prefer it not be used until it was actually tested and approved by our U.S. government. It just really appalls me that the U.S. government allows something like this to occur without actually doing thorough tests on it first before using the drug as a single drug. Any other questions for me?
Just basically, I mean, how are you doing?
This is hard. This is hard for anyone. I wouldn't put this on anybody to go through something like this. You know, of course, and I also want to state that our love and our support for the Marr family, Peter Marr, the Marr family means a lot to the Baston family. We just wish that we could have really gotten justice out of this case instead of actually profit as you. Anyone else?
One last question. His kids are so young, 16. How would they be in this?
It's very hard to read what we know is hurting them because they're just like their father. They're both adventurers and they keep a lot of stuff in. We're sheltering them as much as possible. Of course, we have been responsible for bringing them up over the years. So of course, we plan to continue that and hope that they'll be very productive individuals in the future.
Funeral arrangements are set for Saturday.
Funeral arrangements are set for Saturday. All goes well. The wake will start at 11 a.m. at Glass City Church of Christ in Toledo, Ohio, following the actual funeral services.
So what was the name of the church?
Glass City Church of Christ.
Any more questions?
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Richard.